Okay.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Classical Ballet News, and this is Romy Macias coming from Mexico to the world. And today I'm really excited because I have John Kerrison here with me. He's a ballet photographer, but he'll be telling us in a minute how he got started into the world of ballet. And I just want to let you know why we're doing this interview. I'm really, really excited because John has been officially named. It's been maybe a month now or maybe 3 weeks, but he is our official photographer for Classical Ballet News. So go check him out at our website, classicalballetnews.com. And I know you're just going to enjoy the incredible work he's been accumulating for several years now. John, tell us about how you got started, and good morning to you. Good afternoon to you, almost evening.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're in the UK and I'm in Mexico, so welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. So it started really in 2010, I guess. I think it was 2010. And I was flipping channels one evening, and there was a fly on the wall three-part documentary about English National Ballet, which we sat and watched. And I was really, really fascinated because I kind of seen bits of ballet on the television, but I hadn't thought about it particularly. And I just thought it might be a good subject to photograph as well. So,
Well, what were you doing before so people know? What were you photographing?
well, I started really doing motorcycle racing particularly, and we used to go to quite a lot of meetings, so I'd photograph both the riders and racers as well. But it got a bit tedious in the end because although it's quite exciting to watch, every photograph looks kind of quite samey really, because unless you're a press photographer and you're on the other side of the barriers and really close up, it's difficult to capture the real kind of action shots. But it was good fun. And then I diverted onto landscape photography because I started using my camera on manual mode instead of the cheat and putting it on automatic. And I got more and more into nighttime photography, or low light photography anyway, going up to the coast at 3 o'clock in the morning and photographing sunrises and long exposures to capture the Milky Way and stuff. Anyway, after I saw the documentary, I contacted a couple of the dancers through Facebook because I was sort of interested really, and I contacted Bridget Zare, who was at the time principal at EMB, and Ksenia Obsianek, who was called ballet in those days, and we kind of chatted on and off over probably a period of a year, and in the end I decided I was going to ask Bridget if she'd like to do a photo shoot and an interview, and she really surprised me by saying yes, because I was really an unknown quantity. And in the meantime, at the end of 2011, I retired from my day job. So I had a lot more time, and I'd started this project called Just Another Day at the Office, which was kind of interviewing and photographing people who did jobs that were a little bit different to the usual.
And do you have a blog for that where people can go?
Well, there's actually a gallery on my website, which is just pictures, because the idea was to use the interviews to write magazine articles and sell them. That was the plan.
And I'll make sure to add the links to your website so people can visit also. And just a side comment. I just thought, Bridget is an exceptional dancer. I love her. I've seen a lot of her variations and work on YouTube, of course, never live.
Yeah.
But I just think she's amazing.
Now, I've only seen her dance once because she wasn't very well and she was injured for a while. But I saw her dance Petite Mort, and she was just
okay, yeah.
She was great. So anyway, March 2012 was a rainy day, and I found myself outside English National Ballet headquarters thinking, what am I doing? this could be a total disaster. But anyway, Bridget came out and found me, and she was great. We just got on really, really well straight away. And and she was injured at the time, so she wasn't actually dancing. So in the end, we went into basically into a corridor, really, with a big window and some nice light. And I did some portraits of her standing on the windowsill, looking out the window, and then we went for a coffee, and I photographed her in the cafeteria of the Royal College of Art, in fact. And then after that, I contacted Ksenia again to firm up on the date, and she was great. She'd had class and a rehearsal, and she found another couple of hours for me on a Saturday, really, when she should have been going home and putting her feet up. But and again, we got on really, really well. I was a bit nervous because I'd met her before, just very, very briefly, and hadn't really broken the ice. So but we clicked, and in fact I'm going to do another photo shoot when they come back from China. But the other person who I really who came across so well in this documentary was Daria Klementova.
Oh, and, she was about to retire, right? And during that documentary, I remember she was going to do Swan Lake, right? With Vadim, who was a really young dancer, and she was about to retire.
And she was getting a lot of grief in this documentary from Derek Dean, and but she just came across as really, really funny. And there was one bit where they were in a corridor at the Royal Albert Hall before they went on, and her and Vadim would sneak to their glass of champagne, and they would kind of giggling. And I thought, I'm going to ask her, and she came back pretty quickly and said yes. We could do it sometime, but obviously she was really busy and doing galas and stuff. So a couple of years went by, and she just said keep in touch, which I did. And then she came back to me and said, I've got a couple of hours on this particular day. So I took myself off to London, and it was an absolutely horrible, freezing cold day. And I walked through Hyde Park, feeling really, really nervous, because Daria is a good photographer, a very good photographer, not just good. And I was waiting in the green room, and she came in, and she was just so friendly. She made me a hot chocolate because it was so cold, and said that there wasn't a studio available because there were so many rehearsals going on, but we could go in the park. And I said, well, it's really, really cold out there. But anyway, we went to the park, and in fact, I've got some photographs that I'm going to send to you later today from that shoot, which she approved. And one of them, I'd taken a copy of the, I think it was the Times newspaper, and the front cover was Farewell to a Swan, and it was a picture of Daria in Swan Lake. So I had her reading the newspaper and just looking over the top, and which she thought was quite amusing.
That is wonderful. I like that.
And the only plant I could find in flower was a camellia. So I said, well, let's do the Damo camellias, so which she thought was good. So she jumped up on a picnic bench, she'd put her point shoes on and taken her coat off, which was very brave. And there were all these people kind of gathering around watching, because she was on point and pulling all these poses. And I did some portraits, and I said to her, then I'll send you the photographs, and perhaps you'll tell me which ones you like, if you like them. And I got an email back a few days later saying you passed the audition, which was really, really good, because I was pretty nervous. So anyway, she was happy for me to post a few of the pictures, and then from then on I started doing. What happened next?
Before you go on, just a little snippet of an insight or a thought that I'm having is, as a photographer, you try to be, from what I'm hearing you say, you want to be real respectful with the dancer schedules. However, and in the smallest of scales, the scale that I've experienced it in my ballet career, even when you're busy and you have somebody from the outside world who shows a genuine desire to take a picture or promote, because pictures, if they're well taken, they can be very, very helpful. And it's also a connection to the outside world, because the dancer's world, as you have probably realized by now, is so inwards in the sense that you're always in the studio, always in the company, and it's rehearsal. You know, it's like sleep, you know, eat, the class, rehearse, bathe, you know, shower, go to bed, and repeat. And you know, when you have the opportunity to have someone like you show interest, it's so refreshing, John. So don't feel bad. I mean, it's a good thing you got the courage and did it, because see, there you have it. She's a wonderful lady who said yes, like Bridget, and you know, so yeah.
And it was interesting, because I said to Ksenia, I bet you get really fed up with this, you know, being photographed. And she said, well, to be honest, most of the photographs I see are me on stage. She said, I don't do much of this. And I think they're quite happy, because I obviously give them copies of all the photographs and tell them to tell me which ones they're happy for me to use, but they can also use them for whatever they want, really, which is, and obviously I do the interview as well, which I haven't done anything much with them, to be honest, because it's quite hard to break into some of the magazines, and trying to find an angle that's a bit different. But anyway, that may come to something later. And then, because I've got to know quite a lot of dancers over the next year or so, one of the dancers, Stina, whose name I'm not very good at pronouncing, so I won't. She's Belgian anyway, and she's also a choreographer. And she did a piece for Choreographics, which is English National Ballet's annual show. And they have, I think, 4 or 5 of the dancers who actually choreograph a piece. And because I got to know Stina a bit, I said, well, do you want some photographs of the rehearsal at J Muse? And then I'll photograph the dress rehearsal if you can get me into it. So that's what happened. And she had Nancy Osbaldeston, who's now at the Royal Flanders Ballet, I think. And, Guillaume Manetas, who's a Brazilian dancer at EMB. So I photographed them in the studio for probably a couple of hours, at which point Carlos Acosta walked through. It was amazing being in the same room as Carlos. But anyway, and then I went to, I photographed the dress rehearsal for the whole of Choreographics, and got some really great photos. I was really, really pleased. And I'd also, in the meantime, I'd said to Daria, I've contacted EMB about doing dress rehearsals, photographing dress rehearsals. Never had contact. And she said, leave it, I'll see what I can do. And the next day I got an email saying, you're on our invitation list. So I ended up, the next thing I did was Swan Lake in the Round at the Royal Albert Hall. So I photographed, in the afternoon, they put on a rehearsal for the press, Daria and Vardy, because it was going to be her last performance. And then in the evening, it was Tamara and Carlos Acosta. So it was a long day, but really great. So I said to Daria, I've got a lot of photographs for you from the rehearsal. And after the week after she retired, her final performance, which she went to, which was just absolutely awesome. She had a 20-minute standing ovation and was showered with flowers. And she contacted me and said, do you fancy meeting up for coffee? And I'd like to sit down and go through the photographs with you, because you've not been a dancer, so you don't kind of understand necessarily the nuances and the things that dancers are looking for in photographs.
Oh yeah.
That was so helpful. So we sat for, I don't know, an hour and a half looking through these photographs, and I won't tell you everything she said, but it was very, very funny, because she's got a very good sense of humour.
I bet that was a great education, right, for you, as to the precise moment to shoot the ballets, the movement and the postures. Yeah.
I learned a lot just from that hour and a half, and then I photographed 1 or 2 other shows, and then because the press corps, if you like, was getting so big, or the number of people going, they decided they had to cut back. So they honoured the commitment they had to let me do Nutcracker and Swan Lake, and then said we'll have to review it. And then obviously you came along, and I'm back on their list now. So I'll be photographing choreographics again. I'll be photographing Lest We Forget, hopefully. And I'm also in contact. I've contacted Royal Ballet, but the press officer, every time I've phoned, has been in a meeting or had a day off. So I'm hoping to catch her this week.
Yeah.
And also SAD as well. So it should expand what I'm able to do. And because I also had help from another photographer who was very sort of generous with his time. He's a guy called Arno Stevenson, and he and his fiance, who's Amber Hunt from EMB, are both photographers, and they have a website called Photography by Ash. So I met with he's called Cookie, really. So I've met with him a couple of times, and we've talked about dance photography, and he gave me a lot of tips before I photographed my first dress rehearsal. So he's a really good guy, and I'm very grateful to the help that I've had. So yeah, and then I ended up feeling pretty down because I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to go and do this anymore. And it's like a drug, really. You know, you get a taster of being able to get into something like this and photograph, and then someone takes it away. And I was thinking, what am I going to do? Well, yeah, I'm going to photograph individual ballerinas, but that's not quite the same as photographing shows. So I saw that the Russian Ballet Icons thing was on.
Yes, I wanted you to mention that. Yeah, go ahead.
The tickets had sold out. I mean, because I'd like to have gone and see the show itself, but I saw that Daria and Vadim were going to be dancing, and I said to Daria, if you like, if you can get me in, I'll come and do some photographs for you. And she said, well, I'll see what I can do. And then she came back to me and said, yeah, come to the stage door, and they'll let you in. And there weren't very many people there to start with. Actually, I was in hallowed company, to be honest. There were some really, really great dance photographers there, and I was photographing people who I didn't think I'd even see dance, let alone be able to photograph them. Like Dorothée Gilbert from the Paris National Opera, and Audrey Bézard, Natalia Osipova, and Edward Watson.
Edward Watson, amazing.
Yeah, and Maya Macatelli, Daria Macatelli, and there was just Roberta Marquez, Marianela Núñez. I'm not very good at pronouncing.
Marianela Núñez, Santiago Suarez.
Yeah, so there were about, I don't know, 20 pairs of people dancing, maybe not as many as that, but it seemed like it, and it was just amazing. It was really good, and I got so many good photographs from that, and really enjoyed it.
And you know what? I'll be posting some of those photographs soon, and maybe, you know, in a month or so we can talk again, have another interview, and have you talk about that photo shoot, which must have been amazing as well.
It was great, yeah. And I mean, I've got quite a lot of things in the pipeline. I photographed Elena Glulitz, I think. I'm not sure if I pronounce these names very well, but Elena was obviously a principal lead principal at English National Ballet, and she left in January. So we went to her last show, and in fact she invited us to her leaving party as well, which was really cool. And I'd said to her that I wanted to do. I did an interview with her, but there was so much background noise that I couldn't do anything with it. So I photographed her and Arianel Vargas rehearsing Don Quixote for, they were going to Spain to do a gala. So I photographed them at J. Muse and did the interview with Elena. And then we decided that we'd do some more informal portraits, which I hadn't done yet. But I also went to the Albert Hall because she was dancing Diane Swan as part of a classical concert. So I photographed her rehearsal. I was able to photograph her performance through from a box with double glazed windows through the glass, and I also photographed her getting ready for the performance, putting her makeup on and in a tutu and all this kind of stuff. And again, I've sent the photographs to her, and I haven't spoken to her since, so I can't do anything with them really till she might
listen, that's okay. From everything you've mentioned so far, I mean, I think we could do one interview a month for the next 5 or 6 months. I mean, you've got so much work, and I'm sure, I mean, I can tell that you're going to grow, that you have been growing, and you're going to grow so much. And so I feel so honored to have you as our official
it's really
photographer,
nice
John.
to be doing that, because I've gone from not knowing anything really, and I still don't know that much, I don't think, really, to actually being able to produce good images. And in fact, I put a piece on Facebook just to say that I was going to be doing this stuff for you, and I had about 90 people to congratulate me, and one of them, and it was really, really nice, was somebody called Marina Bill, who runs the Norwich School of Ballet, which is where I first photographed people moving. I used to go along and photograph her intermediate girls every Thursday evening, and these poor girls had to put up with me sort of wandering around taking photographs, and I gave photographs to them so they'd have them. But she posted a message saying congratulations and thanks for all the photographs you did for us, and I'd be quite happy to go back and do more too, because they were just so welcoming, and it was good fun, you know. And I guess as an ex-teacher, I'm used to working with youngsters. And,
yeah.
I'm kind of, well, I don't know that I relate to them anymore, but I feel comfortable photographing.
That's another part. That's another part. I'm sorry, that's another part of your story you haven't told us yet. But yes, you were a teacher in your previous reincarnation, right? In your previous life.
And the nice thing now is I can pick and choose what I do, because I'm retired, and I've got lots of other interests as well. So I'm cycling, I'm doing this, that and the other. But this is just another part of what I do. And obviously writing is the other thing I do. I do a lot of writing, and I've had quite a lot of articles published. I've had one about dance published, in fact. I'm hoping for more at some stage.
Well, let's get you promoted. I would love to be the channel through which we can promote you and support each other, because I think that's what it's all about. So I know you have to leave pretty soon, so I'd like to wrap up. First of all, say thank you. But before we go, I usually try to do, I do a Proust questionnaire. 3 questions. Don't think a lot about the answer, and it's the main idea is to get to know you a little bit better. So, John, what was the biggest embarrassment or blooper that you ever had while photographing in the ballet world?
I don't think I've had any, to be honest.
Oh.
I don't actually. I can't think of anything at all that's been embarrassing. I haven't dropped a camera on the floor. I haven't sneezed in the middle of something really quiet. No, I don't. Actually, to be honest, I don't think anything yet has happened.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll have to wait a few more years.
I'll keep thinking on that one.
All right. What would be your dream photo shoot?
Dream photo shoot? I think it would be to photograph, to do a kind of posed photo shoot with lights with Dorothée Gilbert. She's a really amazing photographer, dancer, and obviously she's in Paris, and I haven't got access to her at all. And I've seen some really nice shoots with her in the Paris National Opera, which is such a lovely building. It would be really, really good to photograph her. But amongst many people I'd like to photograph, but she's somebody who I've watched on DVD quite a lot. She's on television here quite a lot, and I'd like to photograph her. That would be really cool.
Great. And final question: if you could talk to any ballerina that is not alive now, that has already left, that has passed away, who would it be, and what would you ask him or her? It could be ballet dancer, male ballet dancer as well. Anybody.
I think it would be Nureyev. And my question would be, can I photograph you, please? Yeah, I mean, he was such a giant.
Yeah.
That would be cool. And because I wasn't into ballet in those days, I didn't see him. One of my best friends actually saw him towards the end of his career, and he said, "Yeah, he was pretty good." But yeah, that would be it.
Yeah,
I can't.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have to say, if anything embarrassing comes to mind, I'll tell you. There was it wasn't ballet, but I did actually I was doing a photo shoot at a concert, and I squatted down and my trousers split, but that hasn't happened for ballet, fortunately. So, and it was in a dark concert hall, so I was okay. I put my coat on and covered my embarrassment.
Oh my good, that would be really embarrassing. Yes. Okay. Well, John,
Yeah.
don't hang up on me. Let me just close up for everyone. Thanks for joining us in this wonderful interview. I'll have all the links below having to do with John's photography page, website, and all the ballet dancers he mentioned. So if you want to check them out, you just do a search on classicalballetnews.com. Thank you for joining us. I hope we have these interviews on a regular basis because it's really a pleasure talking with you, John. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Don't hang up. Hold on.